Riverbend Talent on the air as we do a new time, just at least for this week, maybe next week. Brought to you by the Halpa Music Company and by Mr. Matt Van Voorst of Macias Insurance. And tonight, we're talking to Pigpen.
Hello. Not yet, we are not.
There we are. There we are.
Too much stuff to do at this time.
Well, you know, that's the thing is I'm not normally awake at this time. Like, this is like when I'm getting up, so, like, I don't know what's going on. What are we doing here this early?
You read what's happening tonight.
Oh, okay. We can do that. Well, here it is. We're Thursday night. Normally we kick this show off at 6 p.m. We got a 4 p.m. kickoff because I believe there's some playoffs games going on this evening that will be running during our normally scheduled time. So we got some guys we're going to talk to from Epic Pro Wrestling in a minute. But first, what's going on this evening around town? Of course, every Thursday night we got the Sea Shanty Sing-Alongs down at Morrison's Irish Pub that gets kicked off at 6 p.m. Open mic with Scotty the Hottie, the Space Wolf, that's at the Conservatory going on this evening. Salunatics down at Fast Eddie's from 6 to 10. We got the Dueling Pianos, Mike Sonderegger versus Cameron Brown. That's 7:30 at the Wildy Theater up in Edwardsville.
You think they're going to wrestle?
That would be so cool.
That would be.
That would be like if they, especially if they like played some like, I don't know, Elton John, Saturday Night's All Right for Fighting, and like, know, we're punching each other at the same time. I don't know. What else we got going on this evening?
Well, we got Evan Shaw, 6 to 9 at Big Daddy's BC Homegrown Duo at 7 o'clock at the Stagger Inn again in Edwardsville until 10. And Jeremy Drake, 6 to 9 at the Cabin at Judy Creek. Matt Tall, 5:30, starting about a half hour from now. Hour and a half from now. At the Prairie Inn in Dorsey, and Jed Harrelson with support from the American Jackals, doing an all-ages show. That's a $26.86 ticket because they're playing at the Old Rock House, and apparently Jed Harrelson's somebody.
Yeah, well, he's Jed Harrelson, is who he is.
I'm not familiar.
I am unfamiliar too, but he's got the American Jackals backing him up, so that's some nice local boys over there playing.
For sure is.
All right, well, there you go. That is a Thursday night in our nice little Sleepy River town area, which plenty to do every day. And look outside, the sun's shining, people. Time to get out. If you haven't gotten out in a few weeks because of the cold, it is time. Speaking of getting out, man, what you want to do is get out and see some wrestling. If you haven't done that yet, we were just talking about it, I think last week. I can't remember. I don't remember what we talk about minute to minute. But seriously, if you haven't seen any of the wrestling, we've had Epic Pro Wrestling on multiple times. We've had a couple of the Cottage Hills guys, a few different ones. They're all fun. They're all interactive, and it's something. It's a must-see. Now, I started to say we got some big news, but Lenny told me that he would kick my derriere.
And he would.
Which is butt in French. Anyway.
You're agitating backs over there because he's going to be taking on Lenny, and he doesn't think Lenny's a big deal.
I know. I'm kind of getting him worked up a little bit over here before we make the introduction. But first we're going to start the man, I like to say, the man with the beautiful hair. Now, we have Brandon Aarons right next to me. First time on the show. Welcome to the show, Brandon.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, no problem. Now, how long have you been wrestling, Mr. Brandon?
I started wrestling and performing on events when I was 17. That would have been 2007.
Wow, okay. Awesome. Now here's the big question on everyone's mind. Where to get your hair done? No, I'm just kidding. You've got a lovely head of hair back
I can't give away my secrets because then people will steal it. And if I want to be at the top of that, well, I got to keep that under wraps.
See, and I'm going to tell you, people, what that means in technical terms for the entertainment industry. He doesn't have a sponsor yet. He would have said Pert Plus if they paid him. He did. No, I'm just kidding.
That's very true.
You said sponsor made me think. Did I mention Halpa Music Company and Mr. Matt Van Voorst of Macias Insurance, German Insurance up there in Jereseyville, the sponsor of this show? Because I should have.
If you haven't, now would be a great time to do it.
Okay, well, I did.
Okay.
Back to the show.
Back to the show.
If anyone does want to sponsor me, my Instagram handle is Brandon with the good hair.
It really is.
It really is.
That is hilarious. I thought
He had no idea.
I thought you were messing with me with that one, man. That's hilarious. So Brandon, you got your wrestling match coming up here?
Yeah, it's probably the biggest match I've had in the last couple of years. I will be facing the current heavyweight champion, Brandon Beretta, for the championship in Granite City.
Okay, so
that's at the Mills.
Yeah, the March 7th show. Because you guys are wrestling in Salem this weekend too, right? Saturday.
Yes.
So are you wrestling? You got a match in Salem?
I won't be at the Salem show.
All right.
I have a prior commitment, but
A hair appointment, I bet. No.
that might actually be true. I'm getting ready for Granite City. You know, I gotta make sure I dot all my T's and cross my I's.
Oh yeah. Oh man, you killed me with that. Had good hair. What was it again? Say your handle.
Brandon with the good hair.
With the good hair. I thought you were totally messing with me. I was trying to mess with you. You're throwing it back at me. So there you go. Not wrestling at Salem this weekend, but at the Mills, going for the championship.
Yes.
Nice. And who are you facing again?
So it's I'm facing the current champion, Brandon Beretta.
Beretta. Okay. Brandon Beretta.
And if I do beat him, which I plan on beating him, I will be the first 5-time Pro Wrestling Epic champion.
You will also possibly be the first Epic champion that is a Brandon who beat a Brandon for the title.
I think that's actually true.
That puts you on the record books, bro.
I think you're right.
Add
it to the list.
I'm just throwing things out there, man. Oh yes. Well, hey, man. We'll talk to you some more about that. But I'm totally agitating the fella next to you already. Haven't even barely said hi to him, other than as we were coming in, and I know he is facing Lenny Mephisto, Mr. Mephisto. Welcome to the show, Brax. How you doing?
I got a couple things to correct you on. 1, Pro Wrestling Epic. 2,
Pro Wrestling Epic.
It's
What did
Bax.
I say?
It's Bax.
Bax.
Not Brax. God, I don't know why people do that. And 3, why am I sitting next to this clown? And why are you getting your hair done? You should be training for your championship match. What are you doing? Do you even want to be good?
I think he sounds jealous.
Jealous of what?
Well, you're looking at me right now. I don't have to tell you.
Your hair is decent, but the rest of you sucks.
As he continues to stare.
It's good hair. I'm not stupid or blind.
I don't know about the other.
Okay. First, Mr. Bax. I apologize for throwing the R in there. I don't know why I called you Brax. Other people have done this to you?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I think it's a sign of lack of brain cells usually.
You burn it for you.
Yeah, I think you're definitely on to something. I don't know about the other people, but me, I've been accused of that before.
They were lacking them too, don't worry.
Yeah. So
You're
so
not
what
the first one, though. He gets all the band names wrong. He books a show.
I don't know who they are.
yeah.
I don't know what's happening.
How do you still have a job, dude?
I don't think I do.
I see that. Today's your last day. Good luck in your future endeavors.
Right. I don't know what a job is. Look, first of all, I'm so stupid, I don't even know where food comes from. It's just there. I just eat it. I'm just that dumb. Now, all right, let's get back. What was the other thing you corrected me on other than the brags?
Pro Wrestling Epic. Not Epic Pro Wrestling.
Okay.
It is Epic because I'm there.
Yeah.
But it's Pro Wrestling Epic.
See, I had all the words, just didn't have them. It's arrangement.
Yeah.
An arrangement problem I'm having here. Pro Wrestling.
I like Bax. I do, man.
Everybody
Better
loves
than
me.
Brax?
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
just-
picking him over Lenny.
Whoa!
He's a
really
smart
hope
man.
Lenny's
This guy's
listening
got
to
brain
this.
cells. I can tell.
Well, I'm gonna let you in on something. He is smart. He's the only one of us two smart enough to go. I'm siding with the guy in the room that can beat me up, not the guy across town that can beat me up.
It's a pretty good idea.
Well, add that, and he's attacking you, which I like to do too. So,
I
and
feel
for
you.
good reason, right, Bax? I mean, he deserves to be
He's a
attacked.
pig pen, man.
Yeah. Well, look, the world needs pigs just like they need pens. I don't know if any of that.
I don't know what that means.
Well, it's in the Bible. Look at him. I
understood it.
So,
You're just lucky you're a pretty guy.
So, Bax, are you wrestling Saturday in Salem?
Yes, I am. Me and my partner, Derek Fullerton, are taking on the Revolution, and we are going to wipe them all over that building.
Is this
I don't know if they're going to make it back. They actually live here in Alton, from what I understand. But you guys might have your population reduced by 2.
And who is it you're taking on?
Quest Parker and Anthony Lopez, they're brothers.
Quest Parker and Anthony Lopez. And so you're doing the old tag team there with your partner?
My partner, Derek Fullerton, we're the Solution, and they're the Revolution. I don't know what they think they are, but we're the real deal, obviously.
Is this a title bout?
No titles on the line. This is honestly just about getting back into the ring. We've been on a little bit of a break here, and this is starting 2026 off on a very high note, and reminding these people that I'm here. I've been here. Well, they'll see on Saturday what's going to happen to their little boys over there.
So Saturday, you're just getting warmed up for the mills.
Saturday's just, literally a stretch session. And even then, the mill is kind of a stretch session. I already beat Lenny, or Leonard, as I call him. I beat him.
How bad did you beat him?
I mean, I remember his doctor getting into the ring, his little scientist Doofenshmirtz, and he has this little buzzer, and he had to revive him. It's almost like what is this, his like second or third heart attack?
Hold on, how long ago was this?
This match?
The one you're talking about.
Yeah,
It happened
December 6th.
So in December 6th,
Yep.
you fought Lenny.
And I beat him.
And you beat Lenny.
And guess what happened?
So why is it that you're fighting him again so soon?
He can't live with his failures. He can't live with it. He slept on me all year long. He made jokes about me. He thinks I'm a joke. He thinks I'm some kind of clown. Why? Because I'm funny and I'm charming and, well, obviously handsome. You think I can't be serious? You think I can't do what I need to do? I show up in that ring. I bring something that none of these guys, including Good Hair here, can bring, which is athleticism, performance, and, well, talent. Raw, unfiltered talent, and I don't need Good Hair to have it.
But it doesn't hurt.
You do have nice hair, though.
I do have nice hair. I
He's
was
so
blessed.
funny. He's so funny. Like, it's so funny.
So let me ask you guys this: have you two ever been in the old square circle?
As a matter of fact, we have.
So you faced each other.
Yeah.
And how long ago was that?
Well, that was only like 7 or 8 months ago. What happened, Bax? Why don't you go ahead and explain?
My friend Derek got involved for some reason, and unfortunately he screwed everything up, and I was taken back, and Good Hair over here got very, very lucky, and it will not happen again.
That is what happened. Thank you for reminding me. I actually forgot.
So your partner from the tag
Solution.
team there,
Yeah.
the Solution, got involved. Now, see, this reminds me of the one time I was in the ring, and I had somebody get involved to help me. It's just part of it's part of what happens sometimes. Look, we all need a little help to get by sometimes. How did it go bad for you? Because mine went great. Dennis got in the ring and saved my butt. How did yours go so poorly?
I don't want to talk about it anymore, actually.
Okay. You know, I'm going to suggest, though, you get a guy like Dennis on your back, because he came through for me. He had
There was a team of roller derby girls, too, that were helping. So, I mean, I wasn't alone.
Let's just say we had the dream team. You got enough roller derby girls, you can get anything done in this world. So let me ask you this, and I'm not trying to poke at you over here. I'm just trying to figure this out, because there's some. Were you like disqualified?
No.
Oh, okay.
No,
I didn't.
No, I pinned. I
didn't. Well, when you said that your partner got involved and it went bad, I didn't. I was like, man, I wonder, like, did he hit someone with a chair? What happened? You know, like, did he get so far out of? Because I've seen that at some of these, where suddenly, like, what was the one place we went to? I can't think of the name of it. I think your mom was there.
Oh, wow.
Speaking of moms, did you let her know that her favorite wrestler's in the building today?
Well, she was already tuned in.
Good. Hi, Mom.
But I at one of the matches that we've been to, between matches I walk in the restroom and the guy who was just wrestling is like in there bleeding from his forehead and like washing it out in the sink, and I saw him get smashed like with a pole or whatever, but like you don't know how hard he is just like head cracked open, bleeding in the sink, and I'm like telling my daughter, "This is the coolest thing ever."
He's got a soft head, huh?
Well, I'm just kind of, when you see something like that, you realize that blood is real. That's not.
Was there ever a question of that?
Well, what I mean is, like any of the kids who see see blood on the screen and go, "Oh, that's not even real." No, let me tell you, that was some real blood. But here the guy who hit him with a pole wasn't even disqualified, right?
I mean, well, let's take it back. Let's focus on what we're talking about. There was probably a stipulation like no disqualification, like me and Lenny Mephisto on March 7th. So there is no rules. There is no weapons. Or not rules.
Okay,
Weapons. There's no rules. There's no countouts. There's
And he's
no
talking-
limitations.
He's talking
That's
about,
fake for sure.
he's talking about March 7th at the mill in Granite City.
All right. I'm just showing a picture.
And
Looks like me bleeding all over the
It
place.
is
from, like
bleeding
2
all
months
over
ago.
the place.
He looked a little bit better in that picture.
So what is it again? March 7th?
March 7th, Granite City at the Mill Event Center.
And that is awesome. I think it's a sellout again.
Oh yeah, we've sold out every show we've done there.
So yeah, I was gonna say man, that's exciting. I mean, that is exciting. We just had Ray Warren a few weeks ago on from the Mills talking about all the great events going on down there.
did you wrestle there yet?
I've been there twice. I was at the first show. I was in a battle royal to open that show.
Okay, yeah.
Up against ridiculous amounts of monsters, which is actually why me and Lenny have problems. He keeps putting me in stupid situations like that. I wasn't on the second one. I have to credit that to Lenny again. And the last one, I was able to earn my way onto that show last minute, and I had a title match with the man who actually trained me and coached me, Camaro Jackson. I came up short. And I'm not embarrassed by that, because unlike this fool over here, that man is actually great.
Yeah, well, when you lose to your teacher, you almost feel like you're supposed to, right?
One step closer to beating him.
Yeah.
That title will be with me eventually.
So see
You
what
can
I'm
snatch the pebble from my hand.
what I'm feeling here, Bax, is that you beat Lenny, but since he owns the company, he can just make a rematch, even though.
Well, no, he cannot. After this match, the stipulation, and I have to imagine that's because he doesn't want to be embarrassed a third time. If I beat him, let's change that. When I beat him again, he cannot challenge me again. The ball is in my court. I'm in charge at that point.
Okay.
Wow. Okay.
Bax, this is a hardcore match, right? No DQ?
It's a no DQ match.
And, I have wrestled Mephisto in a no DQ match before. With thumbtacks and chairs and blood. And I can tell you that you are really walking into this way overconfident.
I've already stepped into a stipulation similar to this with Mephisto once. Back in September at Rents to Do, we had a 3-on-3 tag match. The Solution versus him and a couple of clowns. Now, they did beat Derek, but they did not beat me.
And Pigpen, I just want to fill you in, because earlier you were way off on your wrestling terms. When they say DQ,
No
that means
disqualification.
disqualification, not ice cream.
Okay. See, I was like, man, so like you guys are getting dilly bars up there? That's awesome. No,
I just straighten them
Hey,
out.
look, I'll use whatever is available
It's-
at my disposal.
See,
If there's
now-
ice cream bars, Lenny won't say no to an ice cream bar. Trust me.
you fight dirty.
He's a high cholesterol king around here,
Dude,
man.
he is going to beat you up so bad. This is crazy.
Just because he beats you plenty of times doesn't mean he's going to beat me.
Okay.
I'm just saying, so far, I'm 1-0. And how many times have you faced him?
I don't even know, probably 20.
And how many times have you won?
Probably over half, to be honest with you.
Man, you really get lucky a lot, huh? Because I will say this. I know that you're good, but you're not as good as Mephisto, and Mephisto is not as great as me.
Is this comedy hour? Is that what this is?
Yeah, hey, welcome back to the comedy hour here.
This is awesome.
No, seriously, this like when Dennis brought up the DQ, the disqualification, I actually was going to jump back to that, because when you said, when I brought up the guy getting bleeding all over the bathroom, and you said, oh, maybe it's a no disqualification if that's in the stipulations. So every match, you guys got certain stipulations set forth that say whether you can grab a chair or not, that say whether, what kind of stipulate, because I've seen some crazy stuff go on and these where I sat there going, oh my gosh, I'm in the splash zone. What are some of the stipulations that you've been in? Let's start with you, Brandon. What's some of the stipulations that you've had, and have you ever personally requested stipulations be put on a...
That's a great question, because this past year I've been feuding, and I don't know if you guys have met him or not, but I feuded with the infamous Tyler Copeland. He's a mainstay in Pro Wrestling Epic, and we, after all these years, ended our feud inside of a steel cage back in December.
Oh.
So we ended that. I put him on the table. I went to the top of the cage, splashed him through it, pinned him, and that's how I earned my opportunity coming up in March.
Nice.
But to get back to the disqualification, was there anything that you couldn't do in that match?
Grab the rope for a rope break.
Really?
Everything in there, it's confined inside of a steel cage. We had chairs, tables, weapons. That just anything goes,
But you can't use the ropes, the bouncer.
If I put him in a sharpshooter and he grabs the rope, it doesn't matter.
All right.
I like it.
All right, okay. The reason I'm asking this is because it never really crossed my mind until Bax brought it up about if there's no disqualifications, you do whatever you want. What do these guys? What makes someone stop and go? Okay, here's what we don't want to do. We can't talk bad about each other's moms. I don't know what because I've seen so much crazy stuff. What could the stipulation be? How about you, Bax? Have you ever asked for any sort of disqualification terms?
No, give me anything.
Right?
Give me anything. Here's the thing: I haven't been in a steel cage. I'm a lot younger in this game than say Mr. Goodhair here. I have had quite a few matches where chairs were involved, kendo sticks. I busted a beer bottle over old Lenny's head back in September as well.
I thought he was going to say an old lady's head. I was about to say, what's going on?
No, I'm not. Look. There's this idea that I'm a bad guy. I'm not a bad guy, man. I don't want to hurt
He's
people.
a really bad guy.
No, I'm a great guy. I really am. I'm reasonable. I'm rational. I'm nice. I'm likable. Hell, everybody loves me.
I do.
See? Exactly. Point
Lenny
proven.
Mephisto doesn't. That's what.
Do you know why he doesn't like me?
No. Tell me.
Me and Lenny are so similar in a lot of ways, but here's the difference. Lenny never made it. Lenny will never make it. He's closer to the end than he is the beginning. He sees me, and there's insecurity, and there's jealousy, and there's this idea that this kid, right? He's everything I wish I could have been. He's everything that I failed to be. I mean, he can't even put down a cheeseburger, for God's sakes, and pick up some chicken and rice. He can't go for a run. He can't put his body as a priority, his fitness, his health as a priority. He sees me, a guy who's in great shape. I got muscles. I've got abs. I'm good looking. I take care of myself. It's like I have pride in who I am. He hates me because he was never capable of being me. And now I'm here, and I'm just a constant reminder of what he never was.
Wow.
That's the question I was going to ask him. Is it because Lenny's getting old and you're a younger wrestler that he's...
Well, and no matter what you're in wrestling, it doesn't matter what you do. When you become the old person, looking at the young people, oh, you little whippersnappers, there is a little bit of a, you don't know nothing. Wipe that smile off your face. Life isn't going to work out for you either. But, so you think it's a little of jealousy. He's looking into the autumn years of wrestling as you are just beginning.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's not a thought. It's a fact.
It's a fact.
It's factual.
All right.
He may not admit it because his pride and ego get in the way, but I look at that man, and because we're so similar in so many ways, I can look at him and know exactly what's going on in his head. He's jealous, and he wishes that he had what I have.
Okay, well, we're going to find out, I guess, on the 7th. Exactly.
March 7th, 7:30 at the mill, but it's sold out, so if you haven't got tickets yet.
Now something tells me there's going to be a way to watch this. Maybe not live, but there's going to be a way to, like you guys, it gets videoed, it gets put up online, because there's no way, it's kind of like when they sell out a show at Busch Stadium and you get to watch it on TV.
Right.
It's the only way to be fair to everybody else.
So where would we watch it?
We actually stream our shows. This one will be uploaded probably within a week or two after on IWTV, which is Independent Wrestling TV. It's a streaming service, and you can catch all our previous events. And then you can also search, if you really want to, you could search for Bax, or you can search for me, and you could find other matches of ours from other promotions against other wrestlers. Some that you might recognize from TV and such also.
So the IWTV?
Yes.
And that's just IWTV.com?
Yep.
Yeah, it's an app or a website, whatever you
App or
prefer.
and it's a database, it sounds like, where it's not just what happened this week. You want to look up a certain match, and you know the date. You want to look up a certain, if it was videoed and archived, you can just look up any wrestler, any venue, any date. Man,
Any independent wrestling show that you can think of, it will be on there.
Wow.
There's
That's
thousands
awesome.
and
Yeah.
thousands of shows and videos on there.
Wow,
Pretty cool.
and that really helps kind of, because I've noticed this about wrestling. Me and Dennis have said this for years, that there are many similarities to being in wrestling and being like in a band, or really anything.
Absolutely.
You start off, in the backyard just practicing, and then you build up to and all these different things. But it's the same way here, where we've tried hard to bring a lot of the bands together. Hey, you guys got this circle, you guys got that circle. This brings there's a lot of little wrestling groups out there, independent wrestling groups, and this is a place that's sort of bringing them all together into one, one group, sort of. Does that ever lead to matches?
Like
And other
promotional matches.
Yeah,
So-
cross, league type stuff.
Oh,
Where you're
yeah,
like,
absolutely.
Pro Epic is going to take on, I don't know, Jim Dugan. Whoa!
You're thinking of a brand war of sorts.
Well, or even just like, say, what was your partner's name again?
Derek.
Derek. See, I'm going to get that down. All right, Derek. Anyway, if you and Derek were watching something on independent wrestling, and you saw a couple wrestlers in some place over Kansas City or something, you're like, man, let's take those guys on. Look at those guys; they think they're so cool. It seems like this would lead to that sort of thing.
Yeah, I mean that, or you could just be a man and call your shot, like I do.
Yeah. Oh, and so what is and so let's put you in the situation I'm talking about. You and Derek watching some independent wrestling. You see some guys that you absolutely just hate for some reason. How do you call your shot? What do you do to call your shot?
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna get their attention. I mean, there's a method that I've developed in my time here, and it's led me to where I'm coming on March 7th, where I'm gonna beat Mephisto again. I called my shot on him because I didn't like how he was behaving towards me, and I didn't have to do it directly. Why? Because it doesn't really get you very far. Some people are gonna. When people are watching, when a crowd is viewing you, whether it's online or live, the ego is very hard to contain at that point. I called my shot for months. He ignored me for months. I'd message him. He'd ignore me. I call him. He ignores me. I text him. He ignored me. It wasn't until I came out in front of a live crowd back in September and told him, we're not doing this anymore. We're going to talk tonight. Interrupted his little meeting with what's that clown with the blue shoes, the landlord? Interrupts that guy. I interrupt that little conversation that was planned. And Mephisto's ego put him in a position, and now here we are, still at war that will end on March 7th.
The non-ego cannot contain the ego at those moments, man. Yeah, it's
March 7th, and after that, it's May 16th, Powerhouse 4 North County High School.
You're missing one.
Did I miss one?
May 1st, we're coming back to the mill.
Okay.
We're not going to
okay.
make it in on March 7th. We will be there again May 1st.
all right.
Tickets are on sale as of today.
That
It was
one-
actually just announced we're going to have a triple main event. And what's the main event? The IWTV Championship.
Yeah, Jack Vaughn and Cruel, and then we're having a WWE ID, which is their independent title for the WWE, is going to be defended. It's going to be Laney Luck, the champion, versus Rachel Armstrong, which is one of the top female up-and-coming wrestlers of the entire industry. So that is going to be a match that if you want to see who's going to be at the top in the industry, the entire industry in the next 5-10 years, you need to come to these shows.
May 1st, May 1st, May 1st. Get your tickets now because they sell out at the mill every single time.
Yeah.
And thanks for breaking that on our show, because I did check the list right before I came in, and that hadn't
That
been...
was just announced today, I think,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, it was literally just announced today.
See, Bax is a good guy.
See,
I'm telling him. I'm telling him.
you're like a journalist over
I
there.
come here to do business. I come here to do work for the company, even though the company puts me in situations where I'm sitting next to guys that I just don't like.
He keeps
Man, I'm
saying
sorry,
it because he
we didn't
likes
have
it.
to sit that close. Me and you could have spread out more. Oh, I thought you was talking about me.
It's okay. I'm gonna behave myself. I'll respect your studio. But
Hey, we got some
when we
work
walk
to
out
do,
of here,
too.
something can change.
We got some work to do. We need to go over some other stuff happening this weekend. Thanks to Halpin Music Company and Mr. Matt Van Voris of Macias Insurance, and soon to be the Mill. Right, we're going to be saying their name a lot because they look like they're going to be on board to sponsor the show, and that's very flattering.
It is.
Yes. Trinity's Ways open mic is Friday night from 6 to 9 at Mabel's Coffee. Always a great time. The Old Milton School in Alton. We got Friday Night Lights with Chastity Valentino down at Bubby and Sissy's. Got the Waterfalls with Lenny Mink and Ryan Mazinski at the Conservatory at 8 o'clock on Friday night. Up all night at Fast Eddie's. Lady Luck out at Bakers and Hale and Godfrey, BC Homegrown Duo doing Locke's Brick House on Friday night from 7 to 10. And Salmon Creek out there at Wigglers and Holiday Shores in Edwardsville. Hicktown at the Backstage. That's the old Wigglers at the lake. At Holiday Shores on Friday night. Brewtopia at Backstage Bar and Patio right there by the Wild E in Edwardsville, and a lot more going on a Friday night all throughout Edwardsville, Glen Carbon, and Granite City. I'm scanning down the list. Like the Fleetwood family is going to be at Deutsch Village Inn on Friday night. Here, look at Scott Marlin. He's playing the Tipsy Turtle Bourbon Bar. That's one we haven't announced
Tipsy
before.
Turtle, I like it.
Yeah, it's in Glen Carbon. Short mist out at the cabin at Judy Creek in Glen Carbon. The Strangers at the Moose in Edwardsville. Mike Sonderegger doing the Global Brew in Edwardsville. Left-hand Cowboy at the Stagger Inn from 5 to 8. And Acoustic DNA at the Chop House, 1818 Chop House in Edwardsville. You can find this entire list at cottonmouth.org. We keep it up to date every single week, and it goes way out this week to Baldwin, Missouri, St. Charles, Missouri. We're stretching out there, Pimpin. These folks are catching on to what we're doing, just like Pro Wrestling Epic just keeps selling out shows, you know.
All right. And the new place you just mentioned, what was it? The Tipsy Turtle Bourbon Bar. I never heard that one, but I swear, just a couple months ago, there was a place called Tipsy Turban, like maybe in South County, or Tipsy Turtle in South County. So I'm wondering if that might be some sort of chain, because either that, I make a lot of stuff up too in my brain.
We didn't ask Scott Marlin where he was. And on Saturday, we got a cancer benefit on Saturday. Borderline going to be playing from 6 to 10 at the VFW in Alton for Scott's Freedom from Cancer benefit. It starts at 10 a.m.
Nice.
We got Corridors of Stillness. That's Italy, 5 p.m. with Psychedelic Symphony playing from 6 to 9 at Mooneyham Gallery in Alton. We got Dracula Johnson, Bad Coast, and Kill the Drummer. That's a great name for a band.
That is a good one.
Wow.
Yeah. The drummers never show up. I'm just saying. Anyway, $5 cover at the Conservatory, 8 o'clock. Waffle House Fight Club's in town, Pigpen.
Wow.
So if you want to check them out, Saturday nights and night, right there at Cad Daddy's.
Nice.
I know they like Deadheads there, too.
They're pretty friendly to
I'm
us.
pushing you down there to go see them.
I see it. It's
Waffle House Fight Club, you remember who they are, right? All request, any genre.
Yeah, I do remember that. I kind of forgot about
Just
that.
walk in and say, Slipknot.
And
They have to play it.
yeah, and you could also just start a waffle fight with them, I guess. I don't know. All right, Waffle Fight House Club. That's a good name.
It is.
What else we got?
What else we got going on?
We got the
Naked Soul playing 1:30. Shotgun Creek playing Fast Eddie's this weekend. The American Jackals going to be out at Bakers and Hale and Godfrey. That's Nick DeWitt Bufano's band.
Yeah, absolutely.
Dave Mendoza's back at it at the Pump House on Saturday at 8 o'clock. Flipside at Chico's from 7 to 11 in Wood River. And Tracy Inman, he's going to be at the Tri-County Rod and Gun Club in Brighton at 8 o'clock. Carl Mager at George's Pub and Grill. And Toxic Johnny at the Legion in Kane. Rogers and Dean House at the Grafton Winery. And Bob Gleason at the Bloody Bucket Saloon. Those are in Grafton, along with the Grafton Pub, where those two will be playing from 3 to 7. Blake Foltz out at the Backstage at the Lake and Holiday Shores on Saturday, and the New Prairie Drifters at the Backstage Bar and Patio in Edwardsville. Pete Kreshock Project at Big Daddy's. We've got Songwriters Night at the Stagger Inn with John Kane, Jane Mara, and Adam Harbison. And Cottage Hills Wrestling Alliance, their monthly show at the Legion, Post 199 in Edwardsville on Saturday. So a lot more going on, and you can catch it all at cottonmouth.org. Back to what we're talking about now. We're talking about a sold-out show at the Mill in Granite City, Saturday, March 7th, but new date has been released here on this show, May 1st at the Mill. So if you don't get to catch it this week, first of all, you should have got your tickets and been there, because, you know, Bax is wrestling Lenny.
Oh, man.
So you're going to miss it. And he's not getting a rematch on May 1st. He's already got the stipulation in there, so.
See that now that's a stipulation that I can see putting in a contract. Hey, if I beat you, you just shut up until I challenge you again.
That's what you did,
Yeah.
right, Bax?
It's nice.
I didn't even put that stipulation in there. Like I
Oh.
said, he doesn't want to be embarrassed 3 times in a row.
There you go. There you go.
You put it in there. You
So do you guys know who you're going to be wrestling May 1st yet?
No.
I would like to think that May 1st I'm walking into that show as the Pro Wrestling Epic Champion.
Okay.
I'd like to believe 100% because I think it's totally worth it after I beat Lenny senseless. That maybe whoever holds that title
Who does hold
Gets
the
a match
title
with
right
Bax.
now? Is it Camaro?
Brandon Beretta.
Okay, that's right.
So whatever Brandon survives versus Bax May 1st. I like that idea.
I would really like to wrestle you again.
Yeah,
We
me
could
too. Me too. I don't
literally-
think Derek's staying in the back, so this can be a nice and easy fight.
Yeah, and then I can just put you on your back with no one else around. That sounds fantastic.
Yeah, let's talk about that. In our match back in July, how were things going for you early on when you were showboating? Because I'm pretty sure I was beating the hell out of you. And then, I mean, you fought back. I'm not going to act like you're completely talentless, but I'm just saying, if Derek hadn't intervened, I don't think you would have walked out of there with the Powerhouse Championship that night.
You guys might not know this, but you literally hit me in the head with a hammer.
Wow. I seen
And
it
you
happen.
still didn't beat me.
So your hair must have been in the way because that was my fist, and I know they're hard. Don't worry, it's called being a tough guy for real, bud.
That's
You're
a
too
good
busy
point.
getting your hair done to wrestle this Saturday, so you wouldn't know anything about that.
The hair does add a little bit of padding, so he's kind of got a point there. But
It's like a soft helmet.
yeah, well, hey, whatever makes you feel better, man. You lost. It's fine. You know, like think about the guys I've wrestled who I've beat in the past. You know, and I mean, you brought a good fight. You know, you're still new in the game. You're only gonna get better. So just keep it up, champ. Just keep it up.
I got a motivational speaker in the building today.
Yeah.
Jesus.
You know,
I like the positivity coming out here.
How do I even combat that?
Well, it's hard to. See, that's what I mean. I like it. I like what he's done here. He's throwing you a softball that you're just not sure what to do with.
and
If you weren't Leonard's toy, I actually think we could be friends. I really do.
I don't know about that, man. I got enough friends.
you know, what I got to give a shout out to Lenny. Something tells me he knew to put these two on the show together because something's going to go down May 1st between these two.
Yeah, I'm going to throw a little extra beating in for this one.
Yeah.
I just got a vibe.
Yeah.
Just because Lenny's getting old and, you know,
Look.
he's
So
still smart.
So, well,
Smart guy.
I'm going to say, there was a little talk about Lenny here, a little smack talk about Lenny, and I like Lenny.
Me
I was
too.
just talking to Lenny the other day, and I do believe Lenny does have some plans for the future. I don't believe he's thinking of his way out the door by any means, or that this is a downhill run from here.
Well-
He's still working hard to make things happen.
Let me remind you, when he was here on the show, he said he was taking over all of wrestling.
He is.
Pro Wrestling Epic is going to be the top wrestling brand in the world.
I wish he was here and we could talk about it, but
No, you don't.
I do. I really do. Yeah, because it's exciting news to me as a kid who grew up watching wrestling of things that he's got planned, and I hope it all comes true for him because he is. I think he works hard at what he does. Now you've got issues with him. You want to fight him and all that. But let me ask you: do you think that he does a pretty good job at running a wrestling event? Because that's not an easy thing to do.
Keywords, pretty good job. Here's where he
I'm
messes
just trying to
up.
give you
This
some
is
kind of
why we
credit.
have a problem.
I think he does
He
a
could
great
do a great
job.
job. He could take over the world.
Yeah.
If he just stopped being so insecure and utilized the hottest talent on his roster.
He does. He booked me in the championship match.
Bingo.
Yeah, you're correct. He booked his buddy in a championship match. Again. But again, where are you on the 21st this weekend?
I don't have to be there. Why would I risk getting injured?
See, and that's the difference between guys like you and guys like me.
I
don't
risk
show
getting
up when
injured.
it's convenient. I show up because I want to be there. I show up because I love this sport. I love this game. This is everything to me. This is not a hobby. This is not a part-time job. This is everything.
Man,
Your hair is important to you. Wrestling is my hair.
wrestling is my hair.
There you go.
There is a combination of words I've never heard strung together.
And so, I got to go back to what Zach said about Lenny's training. Maybe he's so wrapped up in making the company a big name that he's eating more cheeseburgers now, as he pointed out. Kind of like Randy.
Wow.
He's not working out. He's eating out.
He takes the bun off. He takes the bun off, so it's low
That's
carb.
the best line of the day right there.
It's a bunless burger. Just keep that in mind.
It's the Atkins diet. I can eat as much meat as I want.
I want to say one thing, though. You were talking about Mephisto being a promoter. And I just want to say one thing about that. I started wrestling for Mephisto when I was 19. He was the first person to ever book me as a singles wrestler. I actually was in a tag team, and he was like, hey, I'm going to run these shows over here, and I want to use you as one of my main guys.
Nice.
And my first ever shot at the Pro Wrestling Epic Championship was in 2009. So this is 17 years later, and now I have an opportunity to become the first 5-time champion. But the difference is that back when we were wrestling on these shows back in the day, we were not selling out venues. We were not. It was brand new. We were starting, and to see him as a promoter grow, and the work and just the work ethic and all the time and the devotion of his entire life into building this into something where we are now selling out venues.
Yeah.
We are having WWE independent title matches on our shows. We are having former WWE World Champions, NWA champions, ECW champions on our shows. We have the best up-and-coming talent in the business on our shows, and he is the one that made that happen.
No, he's not. He laid the bricks. I built the house. Ever since I got here,
In the past
we've
year
been
and a
selling
half.
out shows. Yeah. Look how quickly my presence has impacted Pro Wrestling Epic. Your life's better because of me, pal.
Hey, we got to give a shout out to the Mill in Granite City, because that's what they're selling out down there. And the show is March 7th, already sold out, but May 1st, another opportunity to check out Pro Wrestling Epic. This weekend, you can check out Love You to Death 3 with Artie B. Crenshaw, Unhappy the Wicked, Morgue Mob, and more. And that's 6:30 to 11:30 Saturday at the Mill. So
There you go.
looking
So
forward to that.
let me ask you this, Dennis. As a guy who grew up as a wrestling fan,
Yeah.
let's take the WWF or WWE. See, I'm old. Now, I'm talking about the World Wildlife Foundation. I don't know what it is. Anyway, so let's just take that. Who do you think in your childhood?
Oh, I know.
No, I'm just going to say, who would you say truly impacted the whole of wrestling? Do you think more Vince McMahon or Hulk Hogan?
Rowdy Piper. For sure.
fair answer,
For
yeah.
sure, man. I tuned in every week to see what he was going to do next.
His talk show was the best.
He made some noise.
And sometimes I was holding my side laughing, and other times I was going, beat him down.
But his little talk show
Oh,
thing that he
amazing.
did, where it was so good, man.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's my guy.
Touche, pussy. Now, I was kind of going on the the idea of Lenny building this up and backs coming in and saying, well, look what happened since I showed up. I remember Hulk Hogan making the whole world, suddenly there's a million Hulkamaniacs eating their vitamins every day. But
There would be no Hulk Hogan without the Iron Sheik.
or Vince McMahon. Yeah, you are true. Yeah,
That's right, because he was a real
and
wrestler.
there wouldn't have been any of that without the Cold War. So.
Well, and Mephisto wouldn't matter without backs.
And
I don't think they say that about Brandon Aaron's.
Bob
actually.
Backlund would not give up the belt to Hogan. He wanted a real wrestler in the ring, and that's the Iron Sheik.
Yeah, well, That was the Iron Sheik.
Yeah.
That was. So,
Bob Backlund is one of my favorites.
Yeah.
So I just want to say that.
Yeah, he was a legend
Yeah.
and a real wrestler.
My favorite's still me.
Going by his words, they're all real wrestlers to me.
All right. Well, speaking
Except
of,
maybe Hulk Hogan. I don't know about him.
he's a real American hero. Bro.
Never
Back
been a
off.
fan of that guy.
And me either. He was a little too over the top for me. Like I said, Hacksaw Jim Dugan was my guy, man.
He never beat Piper.
No.
Hey guys, March 7th is sold out at the Mill, Pro Wrestling Epic. So May 1st, you need to get tickets for that.
Better get him quick because it's going to sell out.
That's
Just
right.
make a crowd
announced
outside
today.
the building, and I'll bring Mephisto out there and beat him for you a little bit.
And check
There's
out
no countouts.
check out the past matches at iwtv.com.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you can go back and see exactly what happened with
Absolutely.
Bax in his last match.
Well, hey, Bax, Brandon, both of you, thanks so much for coming down. Best of luck to you. Bax, you coming up at this weekend?
I'm going to be fine. You need luck. Loretta's not a joke.
All right, I take my luck back.
Give it to him. He needs it. Talon doesn't need it.
You go ahead and put this luck in your pocket. Put it out whenever you need it. It's just,
Thank you. I saw a double rainbow when I was driving over here. So I was like, wow, that's good luck.
See, you knew you were going to see two leprechauns when you got it.
I mean, I saw one when I walked in, that's for sure.
No, I think you saw those rainbows and felt lucky because I'm not going to beat the snot out of you when we leave here today. I'm going to be nice and go home.
Thanks, man.
Man, it's starting to get intense. And
It was great meeting both you guys, and we appreciate you coming down. We're out of time, but appreciate you guys. Pro Wrestling Epic. It's been a pleasure to watch you guys grow as a company, and even a bigger pleasure to watch you sell out the Mill consecutive times.
and coming up again in May.
Anytime soon.
Yeah. All right, hey,
Thank you guys.
there you go. There's our guest for this evening. Thanks so much for coming down, guys. Big thanks to Halpin Music Company and to Matt Van Vorst of Macias Insurance. Everybody, get out, watch some wrestling, and support local music and art.